Christian Horner has recently spoken out about Max Verstappen's future at Red Bull, even after his shocking dismissal from the Austrian squad. Surprisingly, Horner seems confident that the four-time world champion isn't planning to leave anytime soon. While the rumors linking Max to Mercedes have been relentless for months, Horner's perspective tells a different story. However, he did leave the door open for a potential blockbuster move in 2027. So, this raises an intriguing question. Could we see Verstappen testing out the new regulations and deciding that Red Bull may no longer be the right fit for him? And if that happens, are Mercedes truly the only frontrunners to secure his signature? The relationship between Max Verstappen and Red Bull has been volatile in recent months. It all started with the team's technical struggles, which eventually led to Horner's departure. But now, the conversation has escalated to a much bigger topic: Max's future with Red Bull. Despite no longer being part of the team, Horner, who played a pivotal role in securing 8 drivers' championships and 6 constructors' titles, still has the authority to share his insights on Verstappen's future, particularly as we look ahead to 2026. According to Horner, the current rumors are just that, rumors. He's confident that in 2026, Red Bull's lineup will remain unchanged. However, he admits that nothing is guaranteed for 2027. With every team on the grid facing the uncertainty of new regulations, performance predictions are anyone's guess. Horner even went as far as to say, in 2026, Max is staying where he is. He's going to have options, but it's more about 2027 than 2026. When it comes to potential suitors for Max, Mercedes naturally tops the list. Statements from Toto Wolff and George Russell hint that Verstappen might consider walking away from Red Bull to join a team that's steadily on the rise. Another strong contender is Aston Martin, a team that has assembled nearly all the winning ingredients that once made Red Bull dominant at the start of this era. If Max ever feels Red Bull no longer aligns with his ambitions, the choice between these teams could prove challenging, especially since the Dutchman would want to see how the 2026 regulations shake out before making a life-changing decision. There's also a strong belief that Mercedes will return to the front thanks to their engine dominance, and you can't blame anyone for believing that. In fact, Mercedes CEO Ola Källenius has already given the green light for the board to pursue Verstappen's signature, something that was once seen as a major hurdle when the opportunity first presented itself. Still, Ferrari and Aston Martin are unlikely to step aside quietly. Lawrence Stroll knows better than anyone that a driver of Verstappen's caliber is worth investing billions of dollars if it means building a championship-winning team. But the real question is whether Stroll's long-term project will be appealing enough to lure Max into replacing Fernando Alonso's seat. Of course, there's the nepotistic factor at Aston Martin. Would Lawrence truly sideline his son Lance for a dream lineup featuring 2 world champions? Probably not. Yet with Alonso nearing the twilight of his career, it's likely he'll transition into an ambassadorial role for the team after 2026. This could leave a prime seat wide open for Verstappen. Still, Aston Martin's current commitments to both Lance and Alonso for 2026 suggest that Max won't be in green next season. But 2027? That's a completely different story. With the new regulations set to shake up the grid, just 1 year could change the entire landscape of Formula One. There's also a growing belief that Red Bull might slip back in performance with their new powertrain project, despite all the valuable intellectual property carried over from their Honda collaboration. But that doesn't necessarily mean they'll drop to the midfield or worse, the back of the pack. The only real uncertainty is whether Max will remain with the team. His departure would be a massive blow and could explain why Horner's exit was so abrupt. Red Bull's priority now is to prove, beyond any doubt, their full commitment to Max and their shared future. After all, his contract runs until the end of 2028, a fact that makes this entire discussion even more compelling. All signs currently suggest that Max Verstappen will honor and see out his existing deal with Red Bull. Yet, recent comments from Helmut Marko and the persistent whispers about the infamous exit clause are making many suspect that something dramatic could happen earlier, something that could completely shake up the driver market. From a strategic standpoint, Max would be wise to wait until 2026, evaluate how the new regulations shape the grid, and then decide whether to shift his focus elsewhere. Let's not forget how no one predicted Mercedes' disastrous misstep in 2022 with the ground effect era, despite their ability to rebuild piece by piece in the seasons that followed. So, what scenarios could play out if Max were to join another team? There have been rumors suggesting that Andrea Kimi Antonelli might take a temporary seat with Alpine, paving the way for Russell and Verstappen to race together at Mercedes. However, this scenario seems tied to a 2026 shakeup. For now, both Mercedes and Red Bull appear focused on evaluating their full range of options for the coming year, particularly Mercedes, as they assess which drivers truly deserve to remain on their roster. Meanwhile, Red Bull is making its stance crystal clear they are fully committed to Max. Reports even suggest that they're willing to go as far as making him a title sponsor for either Red Bull or Racing Bulls. Their desperation is understandable. Without Verstappen, they risk plummeting to the back of the grid, fighting for mere scraps of points. Horner's recent comments reflect this sentiment. While he's no longer the team principal, he remains an employee who has been with the team since its takeover from Jaguar. Few people are as qualified as he is to speak about Max's future. Ironically, however, Horner might also be the very reason Verstappen's tenure is questioned so often. At the end of the day, speculation won't stop. Every time Verstappen underperforms with the RB21 due to technical inconsistencies, the media inevitably shifts its attention to Mercedes and Toto Wolff. Historically, Mercedes has had the upper hand when it comes to adapting to new eras, and they're expected to be a dominant force in the upcoming regulatory cycle. But they won't be alone. Ferrari and Aston Martin are likely to mount fierce challenges. The battle for supremacy in the next era won't just be about engine performance. With reduced downforce, the removal of DRS, and the introduction of active aerodynamics, success will hinge on perfecting every technical detail. While Mercedes excels in power unit development, they've never quite matched Red Bull's aerodynamic brilliance under Adrian Newey. This is why Aston Martin could emerge as a serious contender for Verstappen beyond 2026. Horner himself hinted that every top team would jump at the chance to sign a four-time world champion like Max once 2026 comes to a close. Aston Martin, in particular, has quietly built a powerhouse behind the scenes. Alongside Newey's involvement, key figures like Dan Fallows and Eric Blandon, referred to in your text as Cow and Card, are working tirelessly to make the Silverstone-based team a genuine threat. Lawrence Stroll will undoubtedly pursue Verstappen aggressively, but whether that pursuit will be as successful as luring Newey is still uncertain. Honda will also play a crucial role, as their future partnership dynamics could heavily influence Max's decision-making. For now, we're left to watch and wait as Red Bull's situation continues to spiral. The team is facing a worrying decline, with technical development under Enrico Balbo and Pierre Wache showing little promise. Max's manager, Raymond Vermeulen, has emphasized their shared priority performance. While he didn't name a specific team, it's clear that Red Bull must treat this as a serious warning, fail to deliver, and they risk losing Verstappen. Interestingly, Martin Brundle has shared a controversial take on the situation. According to him, Horner's departure might actually make it more likely that Jos and Max Verstappen will remain with Red Bull. Brundle elaborated, saying, "Every point, podium and victory Max has through his own genius driving is in a Red Bull car. He's often said he wants to see his career out at Red Bull if he can. They are debuting their own engine for the first time next year in what will be the biggest change in F1 history, car and power unit evolving at the same time. This monumental shift will undoubtedly force Max to ask tough questions about the team's future performance. But one thing is certain, Verstappen won't settle for spending the next 5 years in a midfield car. So, what do you think? Will Max Verstappen stay loyal to Red Bull beyond 2027, or will we witness a sensational move to another top team? And if he does leave, who has the best chance of signing him, Mercedes, Ferrari, or Aston Martin? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And once you've done that, make sure to check out the next video appearing on your screen right now.